Hello, everybody, and surprise! What do you know? An emergency podcast. The Eagles have made an addition at wide receiver, adding 2021 second-round pick Terrace Marshall. Jamie Lynch, the question is this a precursor to a trade of A.J. Brown to the Patriots?
I mean, it can only mean one thing, Bo, and it's that A.J. Brown's out of town.
Only mean one thing.
He got his ring, and he's peacing out of here. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be what happens when you grab an LSU wide receiver with a second-round grade
like
at one point.
There's not enough room for everybody to get the ball in this offense.
There's only so many SEC wide receivers you can have in one room, and they're trying to get them all in there.
So Terrace Marshall, and to me, I mean, listen, this is probably a deal with no guaranteed money, and I would say that he's still more likely than not to not be on this roster. But what this is to me is it's a nice job by Howie Roseman, just reminding everybody 1 week before the draft or 2 weeks before the draft that a lot of these guys aren't really going to work out, just so you know. Because think back like 4 years ago, there would have been plenty of people you were reading who would say, listen, this guy has like number one wide receiver upside. He's got the size. He's got the tools. He hasn't quite put it together at LSU, but in the NFL, like this might happen. And over the course of Terrace Marshall's first 4 seasons in the NFL, he has combined for 67 catches for 808 yards last year with the Las Vegas Raiders, played 7 games, 3 catches for 41 yards. That is the player who is coming to the Eagles.
Yeah, just turned 25 years old, so he's still young. You mentioned the second-round grade there. I think he was the 57th pick overall there. He once had potential. Carolina, now look, it's a bad organization currently. The Raiders, bad organization. Do I think he makes his team? We'll see. But he's still a young guy. There's talent all around him. You get him in the system, you take a look at him in camp, and you see if he's got something. I can't imagine this is more than what, even if he makes the team, a $1 million deal. So it's a low flyer, no risk. Why not?
Yards per route run over the past 4 years combined, so his entire career, 116 qualifying wide receivers in the NFL. Terrace Marshall is 110th, so he's not at the bottom, which is notable because in the bottom 11 there are 4 Eagles-related players. You've got Paris Campbell at 106, Terrace Marshall at 110, Jahan Dotson at 112, Jalen Reagor at 114. And Zach Pascal at 115. So there's actually 5. So there you go.
They have a particular kink, don't they? Just get the get the best 1-2 combo in the NFL are up there, and then just fill out the bottom of the barrel guys.
Now, if you want to squint and say like this is when he showed some upside, it is the second season when he was in Carolina. His second year in the NFL at 22 years old, he had 28 catches for 490 yards for 17.5 yards per reception. So he was capable of making plays downfield and has shown that ability. This is, I dare say that this will make Zach throw his phone down and start screaming loudly. But this is not all the way dissimilar to, in theory, the hope behind the Devontae Parker signing from last year. Devontae Parker had done a whole lot more in the NFL, but if you're just thinking of a guy with a specific skill set, maybe that's what you think Terrace Marshall has. More than likely, this is camp competition. We maybe don't think we're going to draft a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds, and so let's just bring this guy here and see what happens.
Yeah, I dove back into the like Lance Zierlein scouting reports and a couple other guys, and everybody kind of said what you were alluding to there in the boom year 2 year is he's a good ball tracker on the second and third level. So like if he is able to beat his guy, he can catch the ball downfield a little bit. The negatives against him, I always like looking at them after a guy has kind of quote unquote flopped in the league to see, did these things come to reality? They said he can get taken off at his break point a lot by the cornerback. He looks disinterested at times. He was a guy that they predicted was going to have to work on his craft and really kind of get better at his routes. So, those things may or may not have stuck with him, and it is what it is. The disinterested thing you never really like to read, though.
No, but I mean, listen, this is a continuation of something we have seen the Eagles do a lot over the past 2 off seasons in particular, which is just adding guys who were drafted in the first 2 rounds. And, sometimes it's Mekhi Becton. Sometimes it's Kenny Pickett. And, sometimes it's Terrace Marshall. And if they put it together, that's nice. It's not necessarily likely, but this is, if it is not all the way dissimilar from the Coach Flynnism, with the analytics. You can't date the analytics, you got to marry them. So if the Eagles have a belief that there is some kind of untapped market on just these reclamation projects of guys who were formerly highly drafted, they might as well roll the dice on a guy like Terrace Marshall, who, again, is probably not going to make this team.
Yeah, probably not. But, he's a guy coming out. I watched / bet on a lot of LSU games that year when Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and he was a freshman. And he lit it up. I mean, the 3 of them had over 100 yards in the national championship game. I think he had 3 touchdowns in the bowl games. He was a guy that with talent around him, where maybe all the defensive focus, or not all of, but you know what I mean, is taken off of him. He was able to thrive. I'm not saying A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to necessarily make him able to thrive, but it's a good situation to be in.
Also, a copy editor's nightmare, because you keep thinking there's going to be an end there, and there is not. Terrace.
Terrace.
I
typed in Terrence in Discord, and somebody was like, "Oh man, this is what sports radio is going to call him." And I was like, "You know what? I had him in fantasy football twice, and I just now noticed there's no N in there."
Those teams could not have been very good.
Well, it was his rookie year and the second year, so I was still taking flyers on an LSU wide receiver, hoping to boom there, just like the Eagles.
Anything else, Jamie?
No, Terrace Marshall, welcome to town. If you want to come up to the PHLY studios, we'd love to have you sometime. I hope you make the team, and why not?
I hope the Zach Berman here.
I'll play the Zach Berman part. I mean, he's a young guy, 25 years old. Once a highly touted prospect.
Yeah, there's no downside here. Yeah, it's totally a totally reasonable thing to do. Absolutely. All right. Well, for more expert analysis just like that, make sure that you become a diehard and subscribe at allphly.com. You get access to the Eagles 100 and Fran Duffy's complete diehard draft guide. Also, make sure that you join us next Thursday night at
JD McGillicuddy.
I need a mnemonic. Jordan Davis. JD McGillicuddy in
an institution of Manayunk.
Block. The Cuz. The Duff Man. Maybe Jamie. Maybe me. We'll see. A lot of balls up in the air, but that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course,
Kyle and Vaughn will be there. It'll be fun.
Should be a lot of fun. So that'll do it. An emergency podcast. The one you didn't know you needed, but you got it. And boy, did we deliver. For Jamie, I am Bo. Thank you to Julia for making it happen. Terrace Marshall is an Eagle. You thought the Super Bowl was good. This is even better. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:00 live, talking interior offensive linemen with Fran and Zach. That's going to do it for all of us here at PHLY. We thank you for watching and listening. We will see you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.